It was exactly 3:15 a.m. on a freezing Tuesday in November. I was working the graveyard shift completely alone at a remote gas station off Interstate 65 in Indiana. In rural America, these late-night highway gas stations are incredibly lonely places. The only sound inside the brightly lit store was the loud hum of the beverage coolers and the occasional beep of the security monitors. The interstate outside was dead quiet, covered in a thick layer of midnight fog. I was counting down the hours until my shift ended at 6 a.m., sipping on a cup of stale coffee just to stay awake. Then, the electronic chime above the front door rang, shattering the silence. A man walked into the store. He looked completely ordinary, about 40 years old, wearing a faded baseball cap, blue jeans, and a heavy flannel jacket. He smiled politely, gave me a short nod, and walked straight toward the back to grab a cup of hot coffee. There was nothing alarming about him. He didn't look dangerous. In fact, he was incredibly soft-spoken when he walked up to the counter to pay. He handed me a $20 bill and asked if the highway ahead was clear of ice. As I was counting his change, the small television mounted behind the counter caught my eye. The local news channel was broadcasting an emergency breaking news bulletin. The state police were actively hunting a dangerous fugitive wanted for a series of horrific abductions along the Interstate 65 corridor. The news anchor flashed a sketch of the suspect on the screen. My breath caught in my throat. My hands went completely numb, dropping the coins onto the counter. The face on the TV screen had the exact same sharp jawline, the same crooked nose, and the same dark, deep-set eyes as the polite man standing right in front of me. My heart began to hammer violently against my ribs. I tried my best to keep my face completely blank, praying he wouldn't notice my terror. I handed him his change, my fingers shaking so hard the paper bills rattled. He picked up his coffee cup. His eyes locked onto mine. The polite smile was gone. His expression was dead, completely empty of emotion. He glanced over his shoulder at the television screen, then looked back at me. He knew that I knew. A suffocating silence stretched between us for what felt like an eternity. Be careful working alone at night, kid, he said, his voice dropping into a low, chilling whisper. Dangerous people are out there on the road. He turned around slowly and walked out of the front doors, vanishing into the thick fog outside. The moment the door slid shut, I lunged for the landline phone on the desk and dialed emergency services. The dispatcher answered immediately, and I began screaming the suspect's description and his vehicle. I locked the front glass doors, backing away into the employee break room, staring through the windows at the dark parking lot. Through the glass, I saw his massive black pickup truck idling near the fuel pumps. Suddenly, the brake lights of his truck flashed red. But he didn't drive away. Instead, the driver's side door swung open. The man stepped back out into the freezing cold. He wasn't rushing. He walked slowly back toward the glass doors of the gas station, his hand hidden inside the pocket of his heavy flannel jacket. He grabbed the metal handle of the door and pulled. It didn't open. He pulled again, harder this time, realizing I had locked it. He stared through the glass, his face twisted into pure rage. He pulled a heavy steel crowbar from his jacket and raised it, preparing to smash the glass window to pieces. Right at that exact second, the loud, echoing wail of police sirens pierced through the night air. Red and blue lights illuminated the thick fog as 3 state trooper cars tore into the gas station parking lot at maximum speed. The man dropped the crowbar onto the asphalt, threw his hands into the air, and dropped to his knees as the officers surrounded him with their weapons drawn. The police arrested him right there on the spot. But the horror didn't end with his capture. When the detectives searched the back of his pickup truck, they found a hidden compartment built beneath the bed. Inside, they discovered ropes, duct tape, and a notebook containing the exact work schedules of lone gas station clerks along Interstate 65. My name was written at the very bottom of the page, circled in red ink. I quit my job that very morning. I never worked a night shift again because every time I hear an electronic door chime, I am instantly taken back to that freezing night, knowing just how close I came to becoming a permanent passenger in that black truck.